What's up, gig workers? How you doing? Welcome to the Roundtable, Season 4, Episode 1. And we didn't even have one episode of Season 3. We did some weird stuff. Season 1 was like 110 episodes or 120. Season 2 was like 23. There was no Season 3, but it's Season 4, Episode 1. Welcome. And as always, we've got Kim's Side Money Plans. We got Mr. Tom Kelly down in Houston. And we got Cheyenne, Gig Work Mama, up in Canada. And you guys, this is a new thing that we're going to do here. We've talked about it before, but I gave Kim the green light to just go ahead. Because even performance-wise and everything, because if we end at 60 minutes or something and we're in the middle of something, there's no reason we can't pick it back up the next week. In fact, it gives some people maybe sometimes to think about it. So you might see me around 50 minutes or so kind of veering off into a last quick topic that won't have any deep debate. And then at 60 minutes, that's like my warning, or we might be ending it perfectly at the hour. But at 65 minutes, Kim kills the switch. And even if anybody's mid-sentence, it just ends. So like this on whichever channel you're watching. If you liked that idea, I think it's great.
Steve, quick question. Does that mean you're going to let Shanna talk?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody's going to have to, we're going to have to get it in quick, man. In fact, Cheyenne, if you saw did you see the, in the articles I sent, there was, the one Canada one was kind of interesting. Plus, I don't think you Canadians are real happy with us right now. I'm not shocked.
Honestly speaking, yeah, no, we're not.
Like, we're lucky Cheyenne is
well,
here.
It depends who it is,
could just be like a cardboard thing that says "Screw the USA."
Yeah, exactly. But I really think it depends on who it is. Like we're nice. I have a lot of American friends, but you know, yeah. It's not the people, it's the government.
Well, it's some of the people.
Well, yeah, actually, that's true. It is some of the people, but I don't associate myself with those people, so it's okay.
All right, guys. Welcome everybody in the chat. Welcome everybody on all channels. I want to show you guys something. I was so stoked today. I was doing a live stream too, and I hope Kim didn't catch any of this because even like Bubba Sue was in there. See Bubba Sue in here now, and there were some other people. And they're like, I'm like, Kim could be watching. Occasionally she's watching a live. I never know. But today, and going by my standards of $2 a mile, and if it's not, it's not. I don't take it. If it is, I still look at it and figure it out. Boom!
No way.
I have status. But hold on, guys. I want to real quickly run through this because, okay, here's one screenshot of it, right? Here's one that's showing my stats. My stats are great, right? I mean, other than, the AR shouldn't count 50%. So, but 99, 5.0, 92. Come on, guys. This is what it is. So I touch on the top one. What is the priority high paying earnings? So these are the two things I should expect from this level. So this is kind of funny to me because I am now wondering, will this just mean I see a few more? Whereas like it's gotten pretty good, obviously, at filtering me $2 a mile ones. The algorithm can learn that I like that. We know that. And then could just filter me out those, and saving data money is huge with these companies. Like if they're taking advantage of transparency here in Colorado, they would be saying, okay, well, he doesn't take less than $2 a mile. Don't send them to him. You know, it might just mean a lot less orders, but I have a feeling I'm going to see orders now that I don't want, and then only the same orders that I'm seeing already anyway. So maybe a little higher volume. That's it. But then the other thing that I get is this, and I got to say, everybody in Colorado is familiar. I used to have to do 5 days in advance to grab a Friday 5:30 to 7:30 shift that I'd live stream. As long as I'm 2 days before, I can schedule 4 a.m. to midnight and as many as I want any day of the week, as long as I do it 2 days prior. So what does this do for me? I can schedule at 3 p.m. the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's available to me every day. Like I can do it any day. But then I was like all proud. I touched that magic AR number and it said needs improvement. My gift. I also got a slap from him. I do. I know. And look, let's be honest, 50% is an F minus. But what does that make 9%, which is where I was for 2 years?
Non-existent. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, but I'm saying, okay, so Kim, you do more DoorDash than anybody up here.
Uh-huh.
What, honestly, knowing, like we talk a lot, knowing what's going on here with the transparency, I'm seeing it. What would you expect that happens to me at 50%? Anything?
Honestly, I think this is so. The only thing I think the tier system is good for and maintaining platinum is Dash Now. I think that's the only reason why anybody honestly maintains that status. What you see in platinum is probably what you see on any other tier. Honestly, I don't think it's that much different. I think the order volume, in my opinion, kind of goes down as you keep going down. So as you're going up, you'll start to see more orders, just probably not the best quality orders. So it'll keep you busy. So you might see a little bit more uptick in the amount of orders you see. I don't know. I've never honestly been silver or gold, so I can't kind of tell you those.
Listen to Kim. Like, she's such a perfectionist. She's like, I've never been a second tier person.
No,
Steve.
but it's true. Sorry.
No, but okay. So now here's my last question. Same thing with what's going on with the transparency, all that here, the fact that I see it. And even in the Uber Eats ones, if somebody were to remove a tip, which we haven't even heard of yet, that I haven't heard of it happening, you have to be, you just call Uber Eats. They have to compensate that same amount back, because if that's what you were shown, that's what they're going to be audited for. So at this point, Uber Eats in Colorado has to take a loss on tip baiting. They have to be the ones to take the loss. So does DoorDash. You can't be tip baited. Your initial screen that shows what the offer is and all the details, that's what you're paid. There is no exceptions.
Tip baiting shouldn't be a thing. We've been fighting this for years as drivers. Like, it shouldn't even be a thing on any one of these apps.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're trying to get better service at a restaurant and you walk up with a folded $100 bill at a nice restaurant and you hand it to the maitre d', you don't steal it back on the way out.
No.
That was your magic money to get up front. So
if you have an issue, you should be going through customer service or support and doing it that way, not a back end through the driver. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never in the years of doing this ever got tip baiting. I don't get it.
If I get to 70%, it would only happen if this keeps up. I mean, again, it took this long, which wasn't too long, but I mean, it took a couple months, even in the amount of time I do DoorDash, because I would only do it. I mean, if it wasn't 2 a mile, I wasn't doing it. So if I got to the, what is it? Platinum, aluminum, plastic, saran wrap. What level is it?
What?
What's the good level? What's the 70%? Platinum. If I get to platinum, what would you see happening for me in my market? And I know you're guessing. I know you don't know, but
it should be like the 9%ers. Since you just said 10, maybe that should be the 9%ers.
But honestly, what would I see different? Would I see anything different for real?
Between what and what? I missed that. I was having fun.
If I got to the platinum, would I see anything better in my market, do you think, for real?
Depends on your market. Yeah, you're going to see, if you do shop and deliveries, you're going to probably see better shop and delivers. You're going to see large order catering probably a lot more often than what you normally do. So there is a difference. It's honestly, it's all about the large order program. You're going to start seeing, or I should say large order catering. You're going to see a lot more of those come to your phone than probably in any other tier, I would assume.
And I think, Steve, more importantly, you're just going to feel better about yourself.
That's, Tom, I think it's honestly all a mind game. Like, I think DoorDash has us programmed to
I fell into whatever I am, coal or whatever.
But I think they have a program that, like, especially like the colors they use, like as soon as an order comes up and you see like blue for, platinum and whatever gold and silver is, like you see those and like, oh, that's a good order. Let me take it. But then you look at it and it's like $7 for like 3 miles. And you're like, is that really the best order? Like they can send me at like the top tier? Like you start second guessing it, but they have it programmed into Dashers' minds that by just putting in that color, it's like the best order ever.
Yeah, and
because they gamified it, right?
On Uber now with the Advantage Plus and all that kind of stuff that they started last week.
I mean, Thomas has on here never have to schedule, but see, that's the thing, Thomas. When we got complete transparency here, I never have to schedule anyway. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but they really have opened up the books for us. They're like, fine, you know what? You guys want complete transparency? You can all schedule every day of the week for every hour. Go ahead. And that's kind of just what they do. Like the day before, you won't be able to schedule for the next day, except for maybe 2-hour blocks, which even that couldn't even happen before. Sometimes even when I was like in the single digits teens, I would only be able to schedule maybe that Friday shift I was trying for, but then midnight to 12:30. I'm not even kidding. They were showing me a half-hour block at midnight.
Yeah,
but it also depends on how many orders you did though recently, because it's not just about your acceptance rate, because my acceptance rate's at 12. And when I go into my scheduling, it's always been pretty much the same thing. I could schedule out like 5 days ahead or whatever. But if I haven't done any deliveries within, let's say 20, 30 days or whatever, then my schedule, like I have to go almost a week out.
I have a feeling I'm going to suffer from Cody disease here. I'm going to have this problem. I'm going to be like, ugh. What do you mean I need to do stuff? I liked it when I just picked the semi-crappy ones and didn't take the ultra crappy ones.
But this is when I say like every market's different. There are markets out there, and talking to other Dashers, that you need the Dash now in order to even work. There are markets that don't have any schedules available, and the only way you can work the DoorDash app is if you do Dash now. So it's almost I'm telling you, it's one big huge game that DoorDash plays with drivers versus scheduling versus what you can actually work.
So if DoorDash removed the Dash Now feature on their tier program, they came up with other stuff. Hey, we'll send you a Frisbee and other stuff, but they removed Dash Now as a thing. Would you still fight it for it, Kim?
No, there would be no point. The only reason why I do Platinum is for Dash Now, because scheduling is an issue. And, Bubba Sue right here, market dependent, New Jersey, we need Dash Now. It's, scheduling it. You have those markets that scheduling is definitely an issue.
Yeah. I mean, this is a change that's happened in my market, everybody. That's why I'm kind of putting it out there to you all. But I don't know. Cheyenne, you've done enough to have a guess. I mean, I know you're in a different country too, but I mean, what do you think I'll see at 50? What do you think I'd see at 70 with now our new transparency law that has to show the total and the tip, and it can't change? And
well, honestly, I feel like, so here's the thing. No matter what all of these programs have been, at the end of the day, DoorDash needs someone to deliver their things, right? So if you have, let's say you go out and there's not a lot of Dashers out there, those tiers aren't going to help you because they need you. So they're going to push out whatever there is. But if there's a lot of Dashers out there, then I think that's where the difference is going to come. Because as I said, for me, I'm part-time. I don't do a lot of orders. I'm at 12%. And there's still times where I get really good orders. But that's just because maybe there's nobody in my area that's, a higher level or whatever the case might be, platinum or whatever. So I still think that no matter what it is, it depends on, first of all, is the market busy? It depends on how many people are out there, what status those people that are out there have. So let's say if there's someone out there that has platinum, but you have, what is it, silver or something, then you might not see the order that platinum driver is going to see. But I also think that when it comes to those catering orders, you're going to see a lot more of those once you get higher.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to
Yeah.
want to give it to someone that has like a lower acceptance rate.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, Nola's asking a question. So Nola, for those that don't know, he's in the New Orleans market. And he's asking, have you noticed a major saturation? I don't know if you're asking just me because I'm in Colorado with this new thing, or if you're asking like in general, has everybody, has it got easier to schedule? That's a question I actually had for everybody too. For those that are not in top tier stuff, has it gotten easier? Because in ours, you can just schedule away now.
Not for me. Like I just went on it when we were having this discussion, and yeah, you might have like little half an hour blocks where, people maybe drop something or whatever. But if I wanted to work a full day, it goes to Wednesday. Like the schedule's not out yet.
Right.
When I go to Tuesday, I can't work a full day. I have 5 to 9, 11:30 to 1, and 3:30 to 7.
So, something weird before we move on from this, something weird that I had Chad on the podcast. For those of you who remember GigTube, Mr. Chad, had him on probably about a month ago. And he was showing me his DoorDash. Now, he's a bottom feeder, but he schedules he schedules 9 to 9:30, 10 to 10:30, 11 to 11:30.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? And
I
he's
used
like,
to
this
do
is how
that
you do it, man.
before Top Dasher, before all the platinum stuff, and when I actually was a cherry picker, that's what I used to do. Because DoorDash has a habit, even if you're multi-apping, well, this was back in the day, but they have a habit of kicking you off. If say you put it on pause and you forget about the 36 minutes, obviously they end your dash and then you couldn't get on. So I learned to do like an hour and a half, I think 2 hours, I used to do. So that way, if I did get kicked off, I can get right back on. Trick of the trade.
Exactly.
And then before we move on to this Uber story, I think Tom's got something to add into this one too, kind of mix a few into this one. But I do have this screenshot for you guys because how many of us use Cartwheel? I know Kim does. I don't know how frequently. I hadn't used it in a while. And
it got out of my area.
Okay, so it's still in mine, and check this out. This is from yesterday. This is the weirdest text string, right? So again, Cartwheel is a software app. In each state, it has different catering companies that use it. You might see that in mine, you have that one too, but that doesn't mean anything. Cartwheel is just the software. So behind mine is King Courier Services. They're in a few states, and they use it. And they texted me yesterday. I want you guys to see how funny this text string is. So, hi, can you help us tomorrow with an order tomorrow at 11:07 a.m. pickup? And they put all the information. I said, I can't log into the app anymore. How do I reset it? And he said, checking. He said, not sure what happened, but I can't find your account. I said, I had one. And then I said, you sent me an offer. Wait, I said, you sent me an offer, but then I don't have an account. That is actually not possible. I said, can you send me a way to reset it and I'll do it? This is what they used to do to me when there was more volume. I actually had them call me a couple times and say, can you take this? And I was like, no, I'm already home for the day. And then they'd call back and be like, okay, $10 more. Can you take it? And be the same operator too. And I'm like, no, I can't take it. I'm like, why are you calling me? And then the third time, she didn't add any money the third time when I got this call, still King Courier Services. And she's like, we really need you to take this for us. Can't find anybody else. Is there any way? I was like, I already told you I'm home for the night. I'm like, did you increase the price again? She goes, no, 60's as high as I can go. And I was like, well, no, I'm home for the night. But anyway, I thought that was funny. They're looking for, we need you tomorrow. Okay. Oh, we don't know you. Like, really? Okay. Okay. So I know Tom wants to talk about the Muffin Man. I was talking about it on 13. I'll kind of want to let Tom lead on this one because I'll love to jump in. I did a 13 on it, and I did some other things, and it's what Kim and I have talked about before with the DC Tortinos, but this is an exact example. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Or is it?
I think it is.
Well, the thing is, did this actually happen?
Yeah. And it happens. This is why the RICO case is happening with Uber Eats, because people are impersonating restaurants. Some of them not even operating from restaurants.
Okay, so let's go with the story first. All right. We all know what a ghost kitchen is. And we've talked.
And by the way, before we get into this story, a lot of ghost kitchens are great. They have 10 working kitchens in the back or 10 working restaurants that they can make food expedited. The definition just means you can't go in and sit there, and you can't go pick up your food yourself. It has to be delivered. Ghost kitchen. There.
Or I can skip the next part now. So this guy sets up a ghost kitchen, and he's selling cinnamon rolls for $6, chocolate muffins for $4, blueberry muffins for $4, cinnamon crunch muffins for $4, and chocolate milk for $2. Okay, sounds great for anybody who needs the sugar rush, right? Except that he's gone and he's bought all this stuff from Costco. He's at home sending this stuff out. Now, here's one of the interesting things is when this first got posted, he had something down at the bottom that said, "This is not real." But then it's very real, actually. Well, I'm just saying.
And in fact, he had a community of people on TikTok get like kind of some of his comments were like nudging at him, like, "Dude, we do that too. Shut up. Quit making
seriously."
Like, yeah. There were other people going, "Dude, you're gonna get us all caught. Like, knock it off. We all run illegal kitchens out of our kitchen. Shut up."
Well, I think there is. There is a chance that he set all this up to kind of flush that.
Do a little digging. You'll see the guy ain't that smart.
Well,
and it happens.
So, I'm just
maybe
wondering.
that explains the video that I saw.
Point being, if you go to DoorDash, they haven't even fixed it right now, and Uber Eats is under a RICO investigation for the same damn thing. If you go to DoorDash right now, you can get verified as a restaurant faster than you can get onboarded as a driver. You need a name, an address, and an EIN number, and that's it. You don't need any permits. You don't need any that you've passed cleanliness factors, that you should be unpacking Costco muffins and reboxing them yourself in your dirty home. Like,
I don't know how you guys feel, but if it's never happened to me, but if I ever pulled up and the address to a restaurant is someone's house or apartment, I'm canceling that order just based off of a safety reason altogether. Like a woman entering in a shady house or an apartment complex, like it sounds like a disaster. So no, I'm canceling that order and going on to my next one. I'm not doing it.
So I did see that a couple people had a couple people that do this actually operate legal food trucks too. So like during the day they're running their food truck.
I have done pickups at food trucks.
And then they bring their food truck home, but they're not cooking out of their food truck. They're cooking out of their home and then bringing it out to the food truck to make it look like it was cooked there because it's illegal to cook it in the home. I mean, are you following the weirdness here? Like people are just like, dude, we can run 24/7 because we can have this food truck sit outside our house and in the midnight hours be late night food that we just run out Tortino's pizzas, 99 cents, charge them $15.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it brings up a whole lot of questions. And Steve, have you actually set up a business on DoorDash yet?
No, but when I was talking about it on 13, it was in a premiere, and Tim Gigwise was in there, and he's Have It Your Way, Brian from Pittsburgh, and he's like, "Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm setting up a Costco account. Who's coming with me?"
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking, man, I mean, and Tim Gigwise was in there, and he's like, every item you just listed is a BOGO at Costco.
Yeah.
So what do you charge
like,
for?
Oh my God.
What do you charge for a DiGiorno pizza? Like $20 because it's more of a higher end.
Probably like a 35 because you're into like premier categories now.
That's crazy. I did see a video, and I guess that's what it was. If this broke this week, there was this guy talking about let me turn my apartment into a cafe because it's so popular now. But he was making like cinnamon rolls from scratch. But then he's like, I'm going to make these cinnamon rolls and I'm going to take these muffins. And then he started icing them. And then he's like, then I'm going to offer espressos. And he's like, now the cafe is open. And I was like, what is he talking about, cafe? I guess this is what it is.
But as a customer, how do you trust that someone's house that they're operating out of is clean enough to serve food to you?
Because you set up the store and you go find some company that'll give you like 30 5-star bot reviews.
You know they're not wearing gloves; they're just kind of handling your food.
Dude, I don't even know they're wearing pants, man. I'm just saying, I don't know what's going on in these houses. I don't want their muffins.
That's nasty.
You know, like, I mean, they're literally unboxing Costco muffins, which, by the way, I don't think I've ever had one. Somebody left me this long comment about, like, if I had a ton of money, I would use this service because Costco muffins are the best.
They are. They're awesome.
They're pretty big.
They're huge. They're like literally
They're huge.
I just thought that was funny.
They really are big.
He was like defending them. He's like, dude, those are the best muffins in the world.
They are.
Oh, wow. Well, now I gotta try them. Anyway, this guy was raking it, even the 6 or whatever. But what the heck, man? Like, this is it. Why would I set one up though? Well, like, what? It's like committing a crime the minute I set it up. Even if I don't do anything with it, it's like I at least had the thought of committing a crime by setting it up, even though they allow it.
I can tell you, crime though.
I can tell you. Well, yeah, you don't have any permits to be serving food. I guarantee.
But you're not actually serving it yet. You're not serving it. You just filled out the form.
So this is where it gets weird. DoorDash is now doing that independent contractor card. You're an independent contractor. You know what permits, requirements, cleanliness factors, this, that, the other. You know what you need to do to be a restaurant. Give us your tax. Give us your LLC, which we all know, limited liability company. Great. That's not going to help you if some dude gives you something nasty off his body. I don't know. But anyway, my thing, I mean, like, you're not having to do any of this. You're not having to submit anything. And you can just go into, you can just go in there and put a tax ID number, put my neighbor's address because I don't want it on mine. And then I'll just walk through the bushes and deliver it out in front of her house. Like, what is going on again? I'm so confused why this is. I am not shocked that this is a RICO case. I'm not shocked at all. In fact, I think it should be. I think it's ridiculous that they're like, oh yeah. Like in this case, even though you're an independent contractor, I would absolutely think that every state, whatever is required to have a food truck, whatever is required to have a restaurant, there should also be whatever is required to have a operational kitchen on gig apps, and it should pretty much just follow those standards. Are you getting checked every 6 months by health? Are you paying for are you selling liquor? Are you paying for your liquor license? Are you, hell, like, you're going to get people starting to do like food and they're selling booze. And all of a sudden it's like, it's going to be like a alley entrance into like a casino. This is just going to be starting crime families all over the place. But I guess if you can make some money, man, it's cool.
I don't know, just from the cleanliness factor and the health department factor, like
yeah. And I can tell you, as a restaurant and bar owner of 20 years, I can tell you it would really piss me off to know that these people get away with this, because we pay so much just to keep W-2 employees and to keep the lights on and everything. It's not, and I worked at a raging bar, but it's not always the money, the cash flow you think it is. And it can eat a lot too. So like, to know that you're having to do all this, but Tom's Kitchen, it's Got fresh eggs.
Eggs are
Well, the next
expensive for
time
you guys
you're
now,
in a
huh?
grocery store and you see a cart full of frozen pizzas, you might want to question it.
I know, right?
Or, I don't know. And then like, I mean, there was another story too relating to this real quick that, man, I wish I think I don't know. I have it here, right here, but there was a dude who was a retired chef, and I can't remember where he was from. He was from not Portugal, somewhere else that had cuisine of his thing, and he's retired. And he just started running a kitchen out of his place and did it through DoorDash or Uber Eats. And then he connected with other chefs that were doing the same thing and told them to do it. Thinking like, dude, I was a chef for 40 years. I can cook salmon. Are you sure we should be doing that out of your house? Like, I trust you as a cook, but I don't trust you as you're going to keep everything clean. I don't know what's going on there. Listen, places we eat or get food from, they need to have proper.
So if you get sick and you get food poisoning or salmonella, I'm saying
It's a
worst
great
case
question.
scenario, like who's liable for that then?
I
It should be
mean,
the restaurant.
all I can think is that
if
DoorDash
they're a ghost kitchen?
points their finger to the restaurant, goes, well, that's the restaurant. Talk to them.
But even if they're a ghost kitchen, there's still an address, there's still a contact information, there's still an
Sure.
owner.
So let's say it was my house. This is the address, Steve's Kitchen. I formed some BS LLC, and I have no money at all, and I food poisoned you in a major way, major medical bills. What are you going to do? Sue me? I got nothing. I was just literally pulling a joke, and your dumbass bought my food, and sorry you got sick. Is that the answer? Because, I mean, it seems horrible. I don't see DoorDash going, we got it.
Not at all.
But I also think that I think this is a big deal.
It's the driver's fault.
It's always a driver.
It would be somehow it would be the driver's fault. He didn't go to the restaurant. He went to his friend's house and he's in on this. And
Or he touched the food before it got there. It's always the driver's fault. It's the driver.
Anyway, I think that seems like something fairly easy to clean up. Like, and why, with a RICO case going on, why is it not changed even on the DoorDash site? Why have they not added more things? Like, hey, you guys know you got to do all this.
Yeah. But
okay, and then submit it. You just upload it like insurance or a registration on a vehicle.
But Meridian actually brings up a good point. What happens if these ghost kitchens have pets in their house and now they're also serving food?
Oh yeah.
Disgusting.
Oh. What if they're really twisted and put parts of their cat in your food?
Is this another they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cat situation here?
They're eating the dogs.
Gosh.
No, but anyway, you guys, I guess the point here is, I don't know if Tom's laughing or coughing.
I think you're choking the poor guy out.
Oh, that was great,
Oh, that's great.
I don't think I've ever seen Tom laugh so hard before.
But I gotta say, guys, literally, if you see ghost kitchens, make sure, I don't know how you verify them because I've never ordered from one through the app. I don't know how you verify that they're one of the good ones, but make sure you do. Don't just.
The end of the article says that ghost kitchens have a badge on them on DoorDash. I'm not seeing the badge.
I've never heard of that.
I've never seen.
They all have the badge.
Yeah,
I've never seen.
I don't know. I'm with the cat comment. Like, I think that's just the beginning of how nasty things could be.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, oh. Anybody want a Big Mac now?
My question for the guy is: did you take it out of the Costco little bag thing it was in, and then like put it in a styrofoam thing and say, "Here you go"? Or did you
like what packaging do they have?
Yeah, or did you just leave it in the Costco package so the person opens up Costco?
I'm hoping he leaves it in the Costco thing for health reasons, although it's already unsanitary. But I would hope he's moving it to a different
plastic baggie.
Yeah, I hope he moves it from the box into like a 7-Eleven plastic bag and gives it to him.
Okay, so the other side of this that I look at though, and I'm thinking, these are rough times for a lot of people. They really are. Really bad rough times. And for some people, this may be the best way for them to make some money because they really do make a great muffin that's worth selling for $8 a piece. And
is this what we've come to? This is what we're going to do.
I'm just saying it is.
It's like eBay.
But yeah, but look, this show is all about the gig economy, right?
Mm-hmm. This is a gig that a lot of people are doing.
And so I'm saying, there very well could be very well-meaning people who just want to make some money off something they're really good at, and they make a damn good brownie. Yeah, brownie. That's what I said. Which different brownies are legal depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if the brownies are laced with something that they're not supposed to?
This is just what I said.
Occupational hazard.
Oddly, I think it was an Uber Eats when I saw it last week. There was an Uber Eats story about a lady who was selling, and somehow in her name in Uber Eats, she was implying that she sold drugs. Everything that she sold food-wise was laced with fentanyl.
What?
They just arrested her. It was oh my God, where's that story? If anybody in the chat knows that story, please drop that link because I'll find it. But
she'd be killing a lot of people, that's for sure.
But she was like it was like party food. That's like the name of her store. And it was like, like she was crushing it in the nights and stuff in LA. She was like selling all this fentanyl laced shit. I don't know. Fentanyl laced chicken or
that's crazy.
Brownies. I don't know.
Well, Steve, look at the clock. I want to jump in here real quick and just mention young man, 27 years old here in Houston, who was killed last Wednesday morning. There are certain areas in town that I don't like driving in. And he was in the number one area that makes me feel uncomfortable at 2:00 in the morning. And he got carjacked and shot multiple times. Lots of witnesses. There were a lot of people around. They came running over, and his last words were, "I'm very thirsty. Can I have some water?" and that kind of stuff. It's very sad. Lyft driver, just 27. So be thinking about him and his family at this time. I've had a conversation a couple of times with my writers. I may have mentioned this here a while back, where I had a couple of guys on the back seat who they wanted me to take him to a place where you sell your plasma. Did I tell you about that?
No, I mean, I'm familiar with those places.
Yeah, so I know they exist. I've never been in one, but you can go and you sell your plasma for $100. And so I'm taking him to this place, and while we're going there, they're like, "So you get a lot of tips in cash, do you? How much cash do you typically carry when you're driving?" And I'm like, that little voice in you that's going, danger, that
danger.
yeah. And my spidey sense was tingling. And so when we got there, there's this line out the door. And they're like, "Could you take us around back to the alley back there and drop us off in the back? Because we know some people that let us in the back." That's right. I said, "No." I said, "I'm good right here, guys." And they said, "Oh, come on, man. Throw us around back." And I was like, "No, I'm good. I got my next ride's already ready to go. And I still have to call my wife. So, see ya."
That's so scary.
when you're out there driving, guys, remember when you hear that little voice that says something ain't right, something ain't right. Listen to that little voice.
See, Kim, this is why we don't do
No, I don't do rideshare.
rideshare.
And to add into this
Like, I
story
don't
of
do both.
Tom's,
This guy though was carjacked. Understand that he was a driver who was on the wrong street at the wrong time, and they jumped in front of his car or whatever, and then pulled him out. And so he could have been a Lyft driver, could have been anybody. There's certain parts of town. Recheck the ride. It's 2:00 in the morning. Don't go there.
So young.
What Tom's talking about perfectly ties into this too, because we don't always talk about this. I was talking beforehand that rideshare professor talks about a lot of this stuff, about a lot of violence on both sides, to the customers or the passengers, to the drivers. He's been doing it for years. I've known Torsten. I've been talking with him about it for years. He's kind of got that space covered. But here's another example of something going on. So a grandmother, and this is in the northern suburbs of Chicago. A grandmother from Chicago's northern suburbs is recovering from a brutal attack. And if you see her, she was brutally attacked. Melissa, who is asked to be only identified by her first name, said passengers, 4 young men, violently attacked her before stealing her car. She said the attack could have been stopped, could have been avoided with a simple setting change in the Uber app. It's a setting, she said, setting she and many other rideshare drivers said puts them in danger, where they have no idea who is entering the car because passengers don't need to identify their or verify their identity. And for God's sake, they can have fake pictures, they can have fake names, everything. You can call an Uber for a friend, and you can call the driver and say, it's not me, you're picking up my drunk friend. I mean, the way that they have the security on this is anybody could fix it in 5 minutes. They know how to fix it. They don't want to. They don't want to make anything scare you away from taking a ride.
Yeah,
Well, we are in a position now as drivers to request PIN numbers and those kinds of things, which I think is good. It's not something that I care that much about, but I could see that where that would be helpful.
I think no matter if you're a driver, customer, anybody who uses any of these apps, your legal first name should be the only name that is on your account.
I would also think that, listen, facial recognition doesn't work. We know it. Maybe they're getting a little closer, but look, when it is working, I think everybody that has a customer account should have it. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
If that's, because we hear about people getting their accounts jacked all the time. So, if that's what's required, once they have it and it works, if that works, use it. No customer is going to care. You guys aren't going to lose business. And so that's a good point. That's a real easy fix right there. Verify it's you. Makes you think twice about getting in that car and being, maybe it wouldn't make these people think twice, and maybe they stole the phone, but then maybe they wouldn't get in to the phone, and maybe the facial recognition wouldn't have worked, and they wouldn't have been able to call the car over. Because what happens is they call them to spots, even if they're somewhat decent, like normal pickup spots, and then they have you going somewhere kind of strange, and along the way they've already got it set up where they're going to jack you. So it's almost like it reminds me of like the days of when like cigarette trucks and stuff would get jacked, and they'd know the routes, and they'd pull them over and jack everything they had.
Yeah,
I'm just 45 minutes.
Good fellows.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Steve, you heard her?
What did she say?
You're at the 45-minute mark.
Oh, I know. Okay. I was hoping that Cheyenne would tell us this thing, and then I got this last. I just got this last for fun story. I think you guys are all going to like it. It's really funny.
So you know how we're always talking about Canadians and independent contractor work and declaring their income. Well, this article came out saying that there's a growing number of gig workers that are transparent about their side hustles, but with their employers. Now, this was always something that I wondered, like, I remember when I was working in an office, if I was working on like a side business or anything like that, my employer would be like, oh, you might be tired when you're in work and everything. But now they're saying that employees have to pretty much expect that employees are working a side business. So in the article, they're saying that there are 7.4 million Canadians, nearly 1 in 4, who are part of the gig economy. And 90% of them are using it as a side hustle for extra income.
Part
So, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's technically what
That's
I would
pretty
call
close.
it.
It's pretty close to ours. We're 80, or last I knew, we were 85% part-time, 15%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So you guys are pretty
this
close.
was a huge surprise because it says that it represented an 85% increase in the number of gig workers from just 3 years ago.
And that's what I found
That's
the
a
fun.
lot.
It's not even from the first year of the pandemic. It's from 2022 now.
Yeah, 3 years. Well, I would assume that this is like 2021.
2022 to now. So I mean, it's 2 years at this thing isn't going back to the pandemic. It's just going back
No.
3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And that's technically like when I started. Like I would fall into that category. Because during the pandemic, but also you have to remember during the pandemic here, things were very, very strict. Unless like we had curfews, we had unless you were an essential worker, you couldn't be out past a certain time. So nobody really wanted to do gig work at that point if they weren't already doing it before. Like it's not something that they would say like, oh, now is when we have all these restrictions, let me go out there. So it was the same thing with me. When it was all these curfews that was happening, I wasn't going anywhere. I went to the grocery store and that was it. But then once everything opened back up, that's when I started doing gig work. So I kind of understand that it came after COVID. But they're saying that Canadians feel that gig work is necessary because 64% feel that they're going to struggle in 2025 when it comes to their financial obligations. And that's despite having a very good salary.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show people are struggling. So if they're struggling, they're going to figure out a way to make money on the side.
I'd even call it a level above struggling. People have a job if they have a normal W-2, and then we go through hard times. That's struggling. When you are having to pick up all kinds of side gigs and have a full-time job, that's beyond struggling.
You're right. You're actually really right.
We're better off than so many people in the world. So I'm not like totally complaining. I'm just saying that's kind of struggling when you got to work all the time just to keep food in the fridge and the bills paid.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So when we were talking about, employees telling their employers that they're doing these side gigs, before it used to be 49%. Now it's about 60% that have told their workplace that they're actually doing a side gig and, they might not be available to do overtime because there are implications, right? If you're not just going home to either relax or take care of the children or anything like that, if you're going to do another job, unless you're like Superman or something, your productivity in the workplace is going to be affected. So 60% of people told their employers. However, here's where the fun part comes in. And I know, Steve, you were looking at this and you're like, There is more than a quarter. So they say 28%. I don't even know why they word it that way. But 28% of respondents say that they didn't declare all gig income when they filed their taxes last year. And for 2024, 30% said that they weren't planning to declare any gig-related income. Like they flat out said they are not doing
like responses. Ours would be like, of course I declared it. Of course I'm going to declare it. Like they'd just be so biased. Crazy. Like you got people answering honestly. Like, no, I didn't, and I'm not going to do it this year either.
It's insane. And then the article go on to explain, the new rule that came in, the federal legislation where, the digital platforms need to inform the CRA, which is our Canadian Revenue Agency, need to inform the CRA that they gave money to, let's say, me, and here's how much that they gave. So now the CRA is going to know that I'm working for these gig apps, right? So you would think that now everyone would say, okay, yes, I am now going to declare the income. However, 66% of gig workers didn't even know about the new rule, like at all. They didn't realize that it was a thing. Although it's been in every single one of our apps, you actually can't go on unless you put in your social insurance number or a business number. However, 71% said that they're more inclined now to declare their income. But here's the kicker. 36% said that despite knowing this, they're still not going to do it. So there are 36% of Canadians out there that they're like, no, we know, but we're still not going to do it.
People scamming in kitchens, not paying their taxes, and openly telling their governments they're not gonna. No way, dude.
So
I worked hard
crazy.
for that. I'm already having to work 3 jobs. I'm not paying the taxes. No, and like all this stuff. But let's end with this. Really, I love it when the Onion puts out a good story, and they did. Thank God. I used to love the Onion years ago.
9 minutes and counting.
I know, and it's just a short
that
story. So, oh my gosh, she's being serious. A feeling of utter helplessness flooding his nervous system from the very moment he spotted the enormous brown paper sack. A 34-year-old Caleb Atkinson told reporters Wednesday his DoorDash order arrived in a humiliatingly large bag. Atkinson, who lives alone, alleged the size of the bag used by local Eurogrill to pack his order was grossly disproportionate to the modest amount of food it contained. He reportedly winced when he accepted the delivery, looking left and then looking right to see if anyone had witnessed him taking the bag that had so much extra space he could feel the food sliding around in there. The bag is way too big, said Atkinson, who grew increasingly agitated as he recalled how the delivery driver identified by the app simply as Brian had handed him the bag using both hands, as if it were heavy. Though by any objective standard, it was not. I only got a couple things. It doesn't make any sense to give me a bag this big. Why would they do this? He added. Initially, Atkinson presumed the order was for another resident of his building. Given the bag's excess size, the medical billing specialist stated that he thought it must have belonged to the upstairs neighbors, a couple of 2 children, but the assumption was quickly turned on its head. He explained when the driver carrying the bag looked at him and said, Caleb, knew his name. So he said, if anybody would have seen me, they would have probably thought I had got a ton of food. This is his quote. Instead of he was really upset. And this, I mean, the Onion is fun, but this is an actual article. He's upset.
So he's upset about getting a bag?
The size of it. It's really upsetting him. Noting that the only item in his order was a crispy chicken sandwich with tomato and a side of fries, which could have been contained in one package or in 1/4 or even 1/5 of the bag size. It's not fair because I didn't. I just got one meal. That's his quote. I don't understand why they didn't give me a smaller bag, he continued. You could fit enough in this one to feed a whole family, and it's just me in this apartment. Sources confirmed the large paper bag continued to plague the man throughout what he hoped would be a peaceful evening. According to Atkinson, the bag was so tall it blocked the lower third of his television screen, causing him to have to get off the sofa and move it from the coffee table to the floor. In what he described as a hassle that added insult to injury, Atkinson was also forced to repeatedly stick his arm up to his elbow inside the offending bag every time he wanted to retrieve a fry. I think he's saying he had to dig in there. Why couldn't he just pull them out? When asked for his view, we're coming up on the end. When asked for his view on the quality of the meal, Atkinson told reporters the food was fine. He said that though he admitted he might have enjoyed it more had he not been so distracted by the bag. And then he says, I kept thinking about the bag. That's a quote, he said, acknowledging that while it was a possibility Eurogrill had run out of small and medium-sized bags, he was disinclined to believe that even if they were out of all the smaller bags, I would have preferred no bag at all than a bag this big. Just hand it
Okay,
to
I'm just
me.
gonna
It's
dump your
much too
fries
big.
in
Yeah,
your
right.
fork.
Much too big for what I ordered, which wasn't much at all. Reached for comment on this. This is the end of it. Reached for comment on the size of the bag. Molly Carson, who lives across the street from Atkinson, said she had witnessed the delivery and concluded her neighbor must have been really hungry, quote unquote, because his order appeared to be a disgustingly huge dinner for one man to consume. Boom.
Are we serious right
So
now?
what's
Like
the
this
opposite
is,
of a Karen? Is it a Ken?
I think so.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I mean, The Onion does some weird stories where it's just like a paragraph and it's funny. But when they do these longer ones, they actually found somebody who was complaining about this, and they actually do go interview him. It's pretty weird. Like, can you imagine being the guy interviewing this guy? Oh, so that bag upset you, huh? Like, really
I wouldn't be able to
pissed you
keep a
off,
straight
man.
face.
And you guys, we are getting out of here. Check that out, Kim, in your face. But you guys, you have to look at right here on the screen. If you drove Uber, no matter when you drove it, take a look into this. You can somehow through a couple different New York websites. I don't have the link on me, but it has to be in by the 31st of March. The settlement's for $328 million. It's some backdated years. And then, and this was the guy in his bag, by the way. And before we leave here tonight, I'm just going to leave you with a little teaser, and then I'm going to put the link into the notes, and everybody go over and give this video a watch and a like and a comment.
Delivery just rolled out a new version of their app just a little while ago, and these are 3 things I absolutely love about the app. Okay.
Guys, that's all
I
you get.
forgot they did that.
So I'm gonna put it in there. You guys go over and give it a like and a comment and all that. Make them know that you saw it. But here I'm gonna put the link in there for you, and then I think we're out of here. And I did it. I did it.
You did it.
I did it.
3 minutes to spare.
Look at that. Here, link. Boom. Goes to all of our channels. So no matter where you're watching it, you just got this link. I hope. Yeah, you did. Check that out. Go give it a like. It's only 2.5 minutes. And some of it you might know, but some of it you might not. I watched it. This lady pointed out some good things, by the way. So you guys, thank you for joining us. We will let's see, I guess that's a wrap for the week. And
All right.
until next time, be safe, earn smart, and Kim.
Kindness is always free.